Well, it went by that fast. Try that again. Negative emotions. And this is where I would go when I would start feeling like just giving up, because I had all these doctors telling me it was impossible. We had 3 doctors in Houston tell Mary and I and Mark, my pilot, that I should have been dead 4 different times. Well, what do they know about dying? Okay? That's an individual thing. You want to get out of that mindset. You capture an idea and you dream about it. You dream about it until that's all you see. And then talk about your idea to your family and friends. And maybe it's about, hey, I want to be a Royal Crown Diamond, or I want to be a gold. Talk to your family and friends. Why do you talk to your family and friends first? Because you want to get the negativity past you. All right? You want to get all of the, that's crazy. I've never heard anything so foolish. That multi-level stuff, that pyramid stuff, why would you want to do that? So you want to get that out of the way. And then you can start focusing forward. Study that idea in your mind and rehearse it and look at it and analyze it, scrutinize it. And then you start putting a plan to that idea of how you're going to do it. How you're going to do it. Now, if you're actively engaging your brain in doing this, you know what your brain is not doing? It's not telling you to give up. It's not telling you to feel sorry for yourself. It's not telling you it's impossible. It's not telling you the doctor's right. You're focusing your brain on an idea that's outside of yourself, that's bigger than you. And then do research about it. For example, if you're looking at being a gold or a crown or a royal, research and learn all you can about the aspects of being that person and what it takes to get there. Study your business, study the market, look at the pitfalls, look at the negative things, look at everything. Because that's how you make a firm decision of what you really want to do with your life. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're buying a franchise from Nampa Auto Parts or you're going to be a Royal Crown Diamond. It's the same principles, okay? Now some people would say, whoops, I missed something here. What stops us from building a business? What stops us from being successful? Changing my paradigm, changing my belief system, changing how I see myself. Do I see myself being successful, or do I see myself going down to the welfare office and getting food stamps? Changing my outcome by changing how I see myself. Some would say it's fear that keeps us from doing this. I say no, it's not fear. I've heard people say the greatest fear is public speaking. If that were true, I wouldn't be up here on this stage. All right? Public speaking is not the greatest fear. You know what the greatest fear is? The reality is, it is taking the risk to change your paradigm. How many here want to change your paradigm? Yes. Okay. How many are willing to take a risk? Thank you. Okay. Is the risk worth it? What if I take the risk and it doesn't work out? Do I risk losing my friends? Do I risk losing my marriage? Do I risk everything financially? Do I risk getting hurt physically or mentally? Could I decide that it is not worth the risk? And yes, you can decide it's not worth the risk. And unfortunately, many of us at different times in our life make the decision it's not worth the risk. And so we don't do it. We set back and become disappointed the very next year when we discover we're in the same place, doing the same thing, having the same thoughts, regretting our life. Is this a risk? Yeah, that's a risk. Is this a risk? Yes, it's a risk. Is it worth it? Well, at the moment of impact, I'd have to say no. But the reality of it is, yes. The long term, it was worth it. It even cost me $28,000 to put my car back together. But you know how much nitro we sold after that? Yes, this was after the rollover you just viewed. You notice my flags are gone, my light's gone off the roof, but we just, after 7 rolls, John Wetton, the cameraman, and a couple of others, his assistants, came running down the mountain, helped me roll the car back up on its wheels, and fired it up and go again. You don't quit because you have a little rollover. Okay? So yes, you have a choice. You can quit right there because it hurt a little bit, or you can forget the hurt and get on with having fun and being happy, right? This was another moment that produced a little bit of pain. It resulted in a broken back.
Oh my God.
There's a risk in doing research. There's a risk in everything you do. There's a risk in getting out of bed in the morning. There's a risk in hiking into the jungle looking for plants. It's the Rio Balvanasa between Ecuador and Colombia. Looking for plants for who?
Us.
This was going up a tributary off the Amazon River in Peru looking for more plants. This was the week that I got bit and wound up with the Chagas virus. There is a risk. There's a risk in everything. And there's, whoops. There we go. That's Jacob. It's all airborne. We love playing. And there's a risk in playing, but you know what? The spectators right here were at a bigger risk. That was Mary right there in that snowmobile. She was more scared than I was. Yes, you take risks in many ways. And maybe some of you don't take risks quite as much as I do or in ways that I do, but I'll be glad to share it with you and teach you how. There's a risk in coming to Young Living's convention, true or false?
True.
You might get addicted to Young Living. Dr. Anthony Campolo conducted a study in which he interviewed 50 people over the age of 95, asking them, if you could live life over again, what would you do differently? And you know what? It was very interesting. The 3 most common responses were, I would reflect more often on my choices. How many of you here tonight can think of that and think of how you could have made more productive choices in things that you've done in the past? All of us can, right? Absolutely. I would do more things that would live on after I'm dead. But the third one, I would take more risks.
Heck yeah.
How many of you are ready to take more risks in becoming successful? Okay? I get tired from just thinking of everything I have to do. Capture an idea and dream about it. You can write these things down if you would like, because this is how to become successful. Talk about your idea with family and friends. Learn everything you can. This is on January the 11th of this year. It was New Year's Day that I called Mitch Seavey and asked him if I came to Alaska, if he could let me take a dog team and take a ride and see if he thought I might be able to do this. And I have to tell you how this came about a little bit. I was laying in bed after Christmas And I had this feeling, I need to get out of this space I'm in. I've got to make a change because it's eating me alive inside mentally because of the condition I was physically. And I knew that if I didn't get out of that mindset, how destructive it was going to be. And so I thought of the most crazy thing I could think of in December. And I rolled over in bed and I told Mary, I said, what would you think if I went to Alaska racing dogs? And she was very kind. She looked at me and says, have you lost your flippin' mind? Not at all. So I was very politically correct. I said, okay. She felt safe. After breakfast, we're sitting around the table. I said to my boys, Jacob, Joseph, what would you think of Dad going to Alaska racing dogs? Yeah, Dad, that's cool. Well, I had 3 votes. What could she say? You see, guys, don't argue with your sweetheart. Just find a politically correct way to reframe it. Okay? So, January 11th, I went to Alaska to learn. Find someone who's successful and watch, listen, and ask questions. And that's what I did. Watch and duplicate their success. And that happens to be me there in the blue coat behind, following my leader. Follow their example and duplicate them until you develop your own style. And every one of us has our own personality. We have our own feeling. We have our own way of doing things. We can't copy the next person, but what we can do is learn from them until we create our way of doing it. All right? Follow the example of leaders. This is what's really critical in building your business. And this was something that was very profound for me. Because Mitch said to me, he said, Gary, you need to get to know your dogs that you're going to be racing with. So they turned the dogs, my team, loose in this big pen. And I walked in and I'm walking around, here boy. Hey boy, and they just ran around me like, who are you? They never paid one lick of attention to me.
On a tree.
And I thought, wow, this is really going to be successful. They don't care who I am. And no matter what I said to them, how I called them, coached them, they wouldn't come to me. And so I just knelt down in the snow. Well, I just kneel down in the snow and see what happens. And the minute I did, the dogs came right up to me. Folks, here's a real fundamental secret. Get down on the level of your people. Okay? Get down on their level. So you're not intimidating to them. You're not a threat to them because you're this big successful diamond or gold or platinum or silver or executive and you know so much more than the new person you're talking to. Know what they need, what their needs are, what they want. You take an interest in them and show them how much you care about them. And they will come to you. And that's what I did with the dogs. What a beautiful lesson it was. Okay? The next thing. Whoops. Develop a relationship of trust. If your people don't trust you, where do you think it's going to take you? And this is how I felt with my friend. Look at that dog. He looked up to me like, can I really trust to go out in the cold and the wilderness with you? He had to have that trust. I had to have the trust in him. Because that team of dogs was going to take me 200 or 300 miles out in the wilderness in Alaska. And all kinds of things could happen. You must build trust through developing relationships. And folks, this is one of the things that I will say. I think social media is fabulous, but I think in some ways it's destructive. Because for some of us, we've stopped building those one-on-one relationships. You want to keep your business going. You want to hold the people to you. Build one-on-one relationships. And build that trust. And they will never leave you. Now we're ready to take action. We've got all the ingredients put together. But no matter where you go, no matter what you've learned, no matter if you are a Royal Crown Diamond, always be coachable. Always be coachable. Be teachable. Be humble. Always. Don't be afraid. Just do it and trust yourself. You'll make mistakes, just like I did. You know, my first corner, I hit a tree. Because I didn't know how to drive a sled. You know, you're going to have times that you're going to hit bumps, and you're going to find, wow, this is horrible. How can I keep doing this when it's not working for me? Did I roll over the sled? Of course I rolled over the sled. I hit a couple of more trees, but I didn't quit. I broke 3 ribs while training at my ranch in Utah, 3 days prior to the race in Alaska. But this didn't stop me. So a little owie, a little hurt, that's not a reason to quit. Because folks, if you quit because you feel a little pain, what are you going to do when it gets painful? Think about it. You might hear yourself say, I can't do this. When I was out there on the trail like this and it was cold and dark, I heard Mary's voice over and over and over. Honey, you don't have to do this. You keep practicing. If you talk to someone and they say, well, I'm not interested in Young Living, it's okay. That's not where you stop. You keep practicing. It may not be the right time for them. I had a beautiful lady here at convention a couple days ago tell me that she got introduced to the oils years ago. And she felt kind of bad that she didn't do anything until 3 years ago. And I said, no, don't feel bad. It's the right time for you. Timing is everything. You don't quit, you don't give up. Now you're ready. You must believe in yourself. Okay, know where you're going and be ready for what's ahead. So in this case, I looked at the map, I studied the route that I was going to be racing, so I'd have a little bit of idea of the elevations and the changes, and we're out here in the Alaska bush. The whole race, not just part of it, but we went all the way down to Homer and then turned around and went all the way back, 200 miles. This is another part that's really critical. After you've studied it out and you understand where you're going and you've created your map of how you're going to build your business, make your commitment and don't doubt yourself or you will fail. And this is the thing, because I kept hearing these voices in my head. Gary, what about your heart? Gary, what about your lungs? Gary, this is crazy. You're going to be out there in the wilderness 200 miles from nowhere and there's nobody around. Do you realize what could happen? And your head will do that to you. You have to decide if you're in control or your head's in control. True or false?
True.
Okay? So if your cousin, brother, aunt, friend across the street says, you're crazy, you can't do this.
Watch me.
You have a choice. You can either accept it or you can just say, forget it, I'm doing it anyway. You know, I had a choice. We all have choices. It's how we act upon our choice that's going to determine whether we're successful or not. So I went and walked right in and I signed up. You know, if you hesitate, you'll start thinking about all the fear. You'll be thinking about the risk. You'll be thinking about, holy cow, Gary, are you stupid? You've only been on a dog sled 7 times in your life, and you're going to go run a race in a country you've never even been in. You don't even know the terrain. And you've got all of these health problems. Of course I could go that way. I signed up, and I just did it. If you want to succeed, get in the race and don't look back. Okay? It doesn't matter what people tell you. You're in charge of your life. Nobody else is. And yes, that doesn't mean you can't discuss your thoughts and that with them, but ultimately it's your choice. Mary talked to me and talked to me and talked to me. And I'm sure she thought that I was 100% deaf, not just partially. Because I didn't listen to her. Honey, you don't need to do this. Honey, you could be writing a book instead of doing this. Honey, do you know you could be making other farms? Honey, you could do, honey. Well, she had so many honeydews. Of course I could. Was this going to do anything towards building Young Living? Nobody thought it would. This was a scary moment. And you want to know why it was a scary moment? Because the musher, with a 20-year history of mushing, was right in front of me, and she rolled her sled at the start. And I'm coming up there, never been on a race in my life. I've only been on a dog sled 7 times. And I thought, holy criminy, Gary, are you absolutely crazy? Here's a professional musher that just rolled her sled in the takeoff. Once you start, just keep looking forward. January 28th, 11:40 a.m., I was out of the chute. The people didn't even know me, and they were cheering and clapping and yelling. It was an exhilarating feeling. And those dogs they knew they had a greenhorn in the back of that sled, and they were heck bent for election to get rid of me before they got a mile down the trail. It's intimidating to start something new, not knowing what to expect. How many of you distributors have felt that? Of course. Yes. Who cares?
Amen.
Who cares? Okay? If you want something bad enough, you go for it. You don't worry about anything else. You don't worry about it's intimidating to you. You just grab on to those bars and stay clenched into your purpose, and you just go for it. I went through this chute, as I call it, and around an S-turn, and there was a road we had to go up over, and it was frozen. I'm on the brake trying to slow these dogs down. They're so pumped up. They're so excited. They got this greenhorn on the back, and they know they're going to get rid of him. And they're booking it. And they come up, and I see this road. It's a berm like this. And I see them coming, and I'm trying to get down on that brake and slow that sled down. They hit that berm, it felt like at 100 miles an hour. And Sled and Gary was airborne for 30 feet.
Woo!
Oh, wow. Do you think that old heart got a workout that time? You better believe it. Now comes the time. I'm out here on my own, all alone. Going through the Alaska wilderness. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how far I am. But I've been mushing for hours and hours and hours. I looked down at my GPS and I scrubbed the frost off from it so I could see, and it said 5.9. Holy criminy. I've only gone 5.9 miles. I've been out here all day. And I only have 50 miles to go. So I'm going and going and going for another hour or so. I brush off the frost. I look at it, 6.1. I'm never going to get to that check station. I started feeling so down, so deflated, that I had been out here for hours. I didn't have a watch on. I wasn't paying attention at the time. I just saw the sun just move around and go down. And I'm still out in the middle of Alaska, nowhere. And I've only gone 6.1 miles. And I was thinking, this is impossible. I can't do this. No one told me it was going to be this difficult, as I had to get off the sled and run with the dogs up the hill because it was a little too much for this young team of puppies. They were 2-year-olds, and it was perhaps their first race. And I started up over this hill, and as I came over the hill, the sun was just going down, and at this moment I saw a man standing there with a camera. And it was John Wetton. There's only one way John could be here. The check station has got to be around the corner. Oh my goodness, I felt so excited. I was just on high. I came around the corner into the check station, and folks, here's another secret for you. achieving your first goal, if it's a star or executive or silver or whatever it is, when you achieve that goal, it gives you a certain amount of excitement inside. It charges your adrenaline. That is for the purpose of giving you that shot for the next goal. And here's the key. Always make your next goal bigger than the one you just accomplished. Okay? Please do that. So arriving at Fetty's Check Station 52 miles into the race, Saturday afternoon, January the 28th. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Because as I pulled in the check station, the officials that were there to check my time and check my dogs and make sure that I made it okay, you know, they were just making a big fuss about me arriving there. And I thought, well, this is really strange. But boy, what wonderful people. How cool is it that they're so excited about me coming in second to last? I didn't know that some of them had been placing bets I wouldn't make it. So now is the time to put my dogs down, feed them, and get ready for the night. And enjoy the 3 hours of downtime you've got, 4 hours, whatever it might be. And it takes about an hour and a half to get the dogs down, get their booties off, get them on the stake line, cook the food for them, get them fed. And you've got maybe 2 hours left, and you've got to keep in mind, you've got to get up and re-harness, re-booty, get them off the stake line, get them hitched up to your sled, and get ready to go. And that's going to take 45 minutes to an hour. So how much downtime do you have? Oh, you got an hour. Oh, this is exciting. I got an hour to go sleep. So you grab your bedroll, and you go over to the check station, and you find out there's a place for you to sleep. You walk into the building, and there's a great big huge cat generator running. No sleep. So now it's back on the trail again. And folks, running through the night had a whole different feeling to it. What you see there is all that you see, is what's in that headlight. And it was nice if it reached the front dogs. And it was so many times that I'd be going, and I learned a little secret. When the dogs would come up to a hill, when the ears of the first dog would disappear, just like that, I called that a one-ear hill. When 2 dogs' ears were showing before they disappeared, that was a 2-ear hill. If it was 3 dogs' ears that were showing before they disappeared, that was a 3-ear hill. I learned real quick that when you came to a 1-ear hill, you got on that brake and you hung on for life. And you might as well close your eyes, because it ain't going to matter. You're either going to wind upside down, wrapped around a tree, or you're going to wind up in the bottom. But when those dogs went over that hill, they'd look back at me and stick their tongue out and laugh at me. Hang on, dude, we're going for a ride. And we did. This is pulling into the next check station. Did I get tired? Yes. And when you're building a business, there may be times that you'll get tired too, and you'll want to take a rest. No, I've not slept well. Why do you ask? Well, the next morning, getting my dogs up, getting my ready to go. And folks, just as quick as I got to my sled and got the things out to give my dogs their breakfast and get them hooked off the stake line into the gang line, the storm moved in and it started to snow. And before I could get everything ready and get my clothes on to run, we had 4 inches of snow on the ground. And it was chilly. A lot of reasons to quit. Going downhill is not always easy, because you don't want to run over the person in front of you, you don't want the one behind you to run over you, so you got to keep your distance. Coming into the second check station, wow, or the third check station, what a glorious experience and a feeling it was. And you know what I found out when I was in the second check station? 4 other mushers had quit because of the conditions and how harsh and hard it was. And they were seasoned mushers. You know, so sometimes a very knowledgeable person might come along and say, "You're crazy, I've done this. I've been down this trail before, and it isn't a good place to go. You know, I've built multi-level company before. I've had a business and I would never do it again." And folks, we have a tendency to listen to those things. Never, 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 because those are dream stealers. And that's why maybe you're all the dream catcher. You want to be grabbing dreams instead of letting somebody steal your dreams, right? And here again, this is my third accomplishment. Wow, I felt like I could conquer the world. You can't imagine what that feeling did to this old heart that was all busted up. And you know the best part that I didn't expect? And the reason I have my hands in the air cheering is because my two sons and my sweetheart were waiting at that check station for me. Yeah. When my sweetheart knew that I was committed to do this, she didn't push back anymore. She says, honey, if this is what you want to do, then let's do it. And she jumped in and gave me the support. And it was a wonderful feeling. This is coming in, the joy of accomplishment. You've all felt the joy of accomplishment. True or false? Yes. 3 days and nights out on the trail. We had temperatures down to 10, 14 below zero. It was chilly, and then there's the wind chill factor that went along with that. There's Joseph running alongside of me. Sharing your success with others is immensely rewarding. There's Joseph, Jacob, and Mary in line, so you see the preferential rewards. And yes, it was a joy. Mitch's wife, Janine, was there. They were there to greet me. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then here's the payday. So we go to the banquet that night, and I got a check for $250 for finishing that race. There's Betsy on the right. You know, I did a 3-time Iditarod champion, and the man who coached me and inspired me to give this a go. And so it was a wonderful time. That's Patrick. He came in last, so he got the red lantern. But I told Jared, I said, Jared, I got a new career. I make money doing this. So yes, it was fun. But I was so stoked. The boys wanted to go play the next day, so we went to the ski resort and went skiing the next day. You know, you don't just lay down because you make an accomplishment. You don't lay down because you're tired. You keep going. If you want to be successful, you keep going. The second race, the Willow 300 Mushers meeting, February the 3rd. And here's my dogs. We're getting ready to go. I'm getting my sled packed and ready. The dogs are excited. This is their destiny. They love to run. They love to perform. This is the most exciting thing for these Huskies that they can do in their life.